Hello, in today's video, I'm going to teach you about tables and borders. First, we're going to look at what borders is and then how to create a table and how to design or to choose a design in a table. Okay, first thing, I'm going to paste some data that I've gotten from an LLM, from an AI, right? In case you're doing data entry, probably you need to type it or all that, or rather, you can also paste it in case you're taking data from somewhere. So if I come here, I can either paste it in A1 or anywhere I want. Let's say I want it to start from here. So I'm going to paste. But I have a problem here. Can you see how the data has come? Right. For me to be able to organize it in, like, each and every one to be in its own column and each entry to be in its own row. So I'm going to expand this. I will double click here on F so that it will expand, all right? And then I'm going to go to data. And then there is this text column. And then the selected one is fixed width, right? So fields are aligned in column with spaces between each other. So where Excel detects a space, it will detect that you're supposed to go to the next, or rather you're supposed to put data in the next column or in the next row. So I'm going to click next here, and then I will click next. So there is just a preview of how the data will look like. I'll click next also. What is the format of the data? I just put general. And I'll finish, and then you have that. We have it in columns. All right. So I have that. So first of all, let's look at borders. All right. Let me select the table again like that. And then there is this in the home tab. There is font tab, and then there is this. Now this one is the one for border. You can put all borders. There is this option for all borders. It will look like this. Can you see? Now there are borders. And by the way, a tip here, a border should not be confused with grid lines. I want you to see these, like the ones that are dividing columns, they're called grid lines. Like in A, B, C, those are called grid lines. And the ones also that are dividing a row is called grid lines. Now, if you want to see the difference between a grid line and a border, is that when let me show you something. If I put a background color on this table, I'll put a background color, the grid lines will disappear. So I'll come here, let me show you. I'll put a yellow color. Can you see? The grid lines disappear, but borders do not disappear. Okay, let me select this also, and then I will put a color. Can you see? The grid lines disappear. So you can't see the grid lines, but you can be able to see the borders that I put here. So there is the difference between like a grid line and a border. Okay, so let me remove that. I will Control Z to remove it, to undo. So we have this. Something else is that you can be able to customize some grid. So in case you don't want it to be black color, which is the default, you can come here to the line style. Let me click more borders first. All right. Select the color. Probably I want a red color. Let's see, which one do we select? There's so many. Probably you want outline or inside, like that. And then you can click OK. So now you can say, see, now it has turned to red. So you can do some different customization the way you wish it to be. All right, now there is border. That is different from a table. If you want to add a table, or rather to convert this to a table, you just click one of the cell, any, and then Control T. That is a shortcut. Now you will see it will highlight the data that is supposed to come in a table. So for every continuous data, it's going to detect where the continuous data is, and then it's going to highlight it. So you can see this formula here. Now it's asking whether my table has headers. So I will tick my table has headers and then click OK. Now, it will bring a tab here for table design. As you can see, this table looks a bit ugly. Oh, sorry. This table looks a bit ugly and doesn't have a name. For example, there is probably data about sales. So what if I call it region sales? So that is what I've chosen to call my table. I can give it a table name. And because it looks ugly, according to me, I can choose to put a different style. So you can put any style you want. We have different table styles here. They're quite a lot. You can try some. And then in the table design, you can see there is this filter button, which you can be able to filter and select. But in case I don't want it to have a filter button, I'll just untick here. You can untick like that. The filter button will disappear. If I don't want banded rows, I will just untick this, and then you see now it's a bit clear. And then you see we have a table there. Now let me select it again. So you can be able to do different customization as you wish. Yeah. The thing with the table is that when I add another column here, let me add something else. Probably I wanted to add, so we have product, region, sales in month. Let's say I wanted to add year, all right? Which year this was. Can you see? It will automatically add this as a new column in a table, right? And then I can add, probably we're in 2026, no, 2025. If this was last year, 2025. And then I can fill it like that. So it will bring the same format into the next column. Now I can also be able to add another one. Does it matter? Let me say profit, something like that. So you'll also see it will add something else there. Now that's the thing with the table. When you add other entries, it will still format it as a table. It will still add it as a table. Okay. So now a table is not just a decoration. It can be used for many things, for conditional formatting, for formatting especially, and if you want like to use things like filtering and all that to organize data. Yeah, so it's not just line, but for borders it's just line. It doesn't have any other functionality other than the appearance. All right, so that was it.